Hello and welcome to the Yarnings podcast. I'm Christine and I'll be your host. This is episode 89. I'm calling it Catching Up, Part 1. This will be the talking portion and less of the show-off portion of my recap from the last month. I have a lot of things to show you that are in the other room. And this afternoon, I had time to sit down and start writing my show notes, and I thought I would break this up into 2 parts, and then I can do some more show and tell over the weekend, and you can have it in 2 little blocks. Plus, I'm blocking something in there, and so there's not very much space for all of the stuff that normally goes behind me, that you can see. So, welcome back. I took a little bit of an unexpected break. My computer decided to go kaplooey on me. I went to record an episode the day before I left. I was just going to pop up something fairly quick. Turned it on. Seemed like it was okay, and I got into iTunes and the screen went all bazonko. It was all interlaced, and so my husband assessed it and said it was not stable enough for me to take it with me. And I had intended on bringing you with me on the road and recording some short podcast segments. And that didn't happen. So I'm really glad I found out before I left so that I didn't have to carry it along with me and then find out once I was on the way. And so he took it to Apple while I was gone, and they had a soft recall on the graphics card, the stuff that powers the display, and they fixed it for free. I didn't have Apple Care, but because that part had been a known issue, it's an older laptop, but they still were able to fix it. So I am back with my laptop. I do not need to replace it, and I am so glad. And everything was all still there. I had good backups, but I worry. So let's move into some life stories. So if you didn't know, I went on an adventure. If you have followed me around on social media, you saw that I used the hashtag kdlbadventure. And then while I was on my adventure, I went to the zombie apocalypse in Rochester, Minnesota. This is a now annual event for me. 2 years ago, I started this once-in-a-lifetime journey and turned it into something that I knew I wanted to do again and again. So this was my 3rd year going on this trip. Let's increase here. I have gotten to do not only the zombie apocalypse retreat, but also go see one of my dearest friends in Chicago, Rena. We have known each other since beginning of college for me. She is younger than me, and so I've known her longer than I've known Eric. She was in my wedding, and we have reconnected, and so it is such a joy to get to go and spend time with her. We share a lot of the same types of geekiness, so that makes for really fun, relaxing time together. So on my trip, I did a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'll do more show and tell next short episode. We're just going to skip all the yarning segments. I'll show you what I'm working on, though. I'm kind of in the middle of the row. You can see I probably need a longer cable. This is the You're Beautiful shawl by Melanie Berg, and I am doing it by striping 2 colors rather than 2 colors that are the same, because it is a shawl that requires 2 skeins, and I wanted to use my Woodland Friends Sun Valley fiber that I had gotten as part of a kit with this bag. They match, which is a kitchen counter crafter bag that they sold at Stitches Midwest last year, and I just happened to grab it. And then I'm using a query fiber. It is lightly sparkly. You can't barely see it, but every once in a while I'll catch a glimmer. It's a pretty light sparkle. But I'd gotten this in the Yarn Lotto at ZK last year. The Yarn Lotto, you put in a skein of about $20 value, at least $20 value yarn, and then draw a number, and everybody gets to pick a skein out of the pile. So this was my find last year. And so these two are working really well together because it just basically spreads out the beautiful colors a little more. It is really nice, and I am on, I think, the third section of increases. So you can see there's spines. This is the one that was in the second section, and now I have started to add markers for another section, and I've just started that. I don't have a picture pulled up on my laptop of what it looks like, but I have these cute little markers with bees on them. So that's what I'm knitting on while I'm talking to you, because it is mostly stockinette except for increases, and that I can do while I'm talking. So yes, I will come back and do more yarning segments. I will show you some of the things that I finished. I'll show you my finished object from before I left. I have a pair of socks that I finished. I have started on a top, but I will show you all of that next time when I am back at my desk. Today I am on my couch. So we are going to move into the non-knitting segments, and throughout those I will tell you more about my journey. For Sagas of Geekery, now playing, I did lead the discussion for board games and knitting at ZK this year, and we had a very nice discussion, idea brainstorming session about what kind of games work well for what kind of people and how I work my knitting into my gaming, and that went very nicely. I brought 4 games this year to show. I had Splendor, Flip City, Ella Minis, and one other thing. I don't remember what the other one was. Just so I had some basic things to show the concepts. Of here's some of the ones that work particularly well, here's some of the ones that work well for kids, that kind of thing. And that was nice to have a variety of things to kind of show. We also had Sarah, another crafty girl. She is also a very big gamer, so she was able to give some of her great knowledge to the group of things that she has played, places that she's bought things, and that kind of thing. And so that was really helpful. But mostly it was just really great to have a nice discussion about it and to have people there that really were excited. Sushi Go, that was the other one. People that were really excited about the idea of playing more games. Some of the games that I have played lately, I didn't actually play any on my trip. This year, I just didn't find the time to sit down and set up a game. And that's okay. Some years that's easier to have happen. We had not as many small table spots to possibly sit down and do that. And I spent a lot of time just visiting with people. So that's okay. I'm all right with that. I wish I'd gotten to play with Sarah, but Sarah and Emily had expressed an interest, and some of my other friends, but it didn't work out this time. So some of the games that I played right before I left were Manhattan Project, Keyflower, and then I played Flip City to make sure that I remembered how the setup and stuff worked, because I haven't played it a lot of times, but it is a very nice small game. I don't remember if I showed that one to you, but maybe that one will need to be one that comes upstairs with me to show, or maybe look up on my show notes and see if that has been shown. After I got back, I have spent quite a few days resting. As to be expected, with such a long journey, I was gone for 10 days. And at the end of the trip being ZK, I walked a lot more steps than my body is used to. So there have been a lot of naps. But I finally felt able to sit at the table and play some games with my husband last Sunday, and we had a little mini game day. So we played Legendary, which was fun because we played a couple characters that we hadn't played with yet. We had watched, well, I'll get to that in a second. And then we played Castles of Burgundy. We had some new game boards that we hadn't played with yet. And Race for the Galaxy. And those are three of my very favorite games, so that was lots of fun to get to play those. I am really looking forward to going to the game store again soon. We have a credit from selling back some games, and I have a few things that I have my eyes on. So I'm excited to go back and see what has changed at the store since I've been at last, and see if there's any new demo games, and then possibly buy some things with our store credit. On my iPhone, I've been playing the Avengers Academy game for iOS. That is a adventure style game where you are doing missions and you are playing with the teenage-ish versions of Marvel characters. And they've had several different big events where they did different themes in the last couple of months. And the last one that I really had fun with was the Civil War event. And the big goal was to get the Winter Soldier. I didn't quite make it to him, but I have Madam Hydra now, and it's just really fun to see all of these heroes and maybe not so heroic characters kind of sharing the floor and getting to. It kind of has a Sims feel where you can move your buildings around and that kind of thing too, and it's just a really fun little diversion. And it was fun that Rena and I were both playing it, that we had fun seeing, okay, where are you at? What are you doing? That kind of thing. That was great. For now watching, we have been continuing to watch Person of Interest. I think there are 2 episodes left. One was this week and one next week. And that's going to be sad when it's over. We caught up on all the ones from when I was gone, and there was one that was really sad. It is a really good show, and I really do enjoy it. I have still been watching Grey's Anatomy. I did finish Private Practice. I don't remember. I think that was since I talked to you guys last, and it was a good way to finish that off. Grey's Anatomy, I finally caught up to the end of season 11, which means I'm waiting for the newest season to be put on Netflix. The season that just aired should be added to Netflix in the next couple days. So I will definitely be caught up before the new season starts and possibly watch it in real time next fall. What else? We started watching Fringe again. It's been since it aired that I have seen that, and that is going to be lots of fun. That will be our next watch together show for Eric and I. And we watched Deadpool. We bought it right before I left with the thoughts that we would watch it beforehand, and then we ran out of time, and so that waited until I came back, and I really had fun with that. Definitely had, adult content, but it was a really entertaining movie. So when we played Legendary, we did have to play with Deadpool. And then with Rena, we did a lot of chilling out. We crafted, we sat together on the couch and watched a variety of things over the course of the days I was there. We watched Great British Baking Show. That was really fun. There is one season of it on Netflix. It is a cooking challenge, but from Britain, and so it has a lot nicer of a competition feel. People supporting each other, and they did some really neato things. So I'm hopeful that they will add more seasons of that to Netflix at some point so I can see more of it. We watched Pleasantville because that was on Netflix, and I hadn't seen that in a while. We watched an episode of Buffy. We watched Band Candy, which is a season 3 episode, and that is one of the funniest standalone episodes to me because I like season 3. And Rena and I watched a lot of Buffy from afar in the past. And then I showed her a episode of Person of Interest that had Leslie Odom Jr., who is a actor that is now in Hamilton, and I'll talk about that in a moment. And we watched the first Captain America. We were thinking about going and seeing Civil War again. Well, we didn't make it to do that, but we did rewatch the first one. So lots of watching, but that was really nice. For now listening, I listened to the Hamilton soundtrack. I have listened to it again and again since then. So Rena had been talking about how much she liked it, and I said I'd love to be introduced to it. And so she was able to kind of guide me through okay, here's who's singing, that kind of thing. And I was tapping my feet along with it from the very beginning. I don't always connect with rap and hip-hop, but when it's done in a way that is telling a story, it is amazing. So that was great. They wove the theme of how Alexander Hamilton wrote throughout and told a story. And I can relate to wanting to tell a story from the themes of documenting my life. It's been through blogging, through taking pictures, now through podcasting. I enjoy documenting my life. And it seems like Alexander Hamilton must have as well. And it's expertly voiced. The cast is amazing. And I just really fell in love with the whole thing. So, I watched the Tonys this last weekend. I don't think it's a spoiler alert to tell you that Hamilton won some things. And performed some things. I would recommend listening to the official cast soundtrack if you get a chance. It is on Apple Music. If you have a subscription to that, you can add that to your cloud and stream it or download it, or you can buy it. And I really enjoyed that. It seems so weird. It's a hip-hop musical about founding fathers. But it really worked, and it reminded me how much I enjoyed the musicals I listened to as a younger person. So this probably won't be the last you hear about Hamilton. For now reading, I read some of Rising Strong by Brene Brown on the planes. I got it as an ebook. I had been listening to it as an audiobook until my library subscription ran out, and so I'm glad that I got a chance to actually see it on the page. I'm finding a lot of things that are resonating with me, and I'm excited to finish. For Fanciful Chatter, I'm wearing some new earrings. So one side is a button, the other side is scissors. Aren't those adorable? Those are from Leah Align on Instagram and Revelry. And I love them. They are going out on the town with me tonight to meet my mother-in-law. I also found some cute little bags. These are called go-to bags. And I used them to kind of corral my cosmetics for the trip. So this is the collection of eyeshadow and blush that I have from ColourPop. And it's just a nice little flat bag, but it kept them all together. And so then I stuck them on a D-ring, on a shower curtain ring, and attached them together, hanging up in the hotel room, and I could pull down one at a time as I needed them. And that really helped. That was a good call to get some of those, and I'll try and link to those in the show notes if you are interested. I bought 2 different sets of them on Amazon. I also am wearing another new lipstick. This is Sephora's Cream Lip Stain in the colorway Blackberry Sorbet. It doesn't say that on here. It's not quite as purple as the purple that I wore for you guys a couple episodes ago. It's a little bit nicer, but it definitely has that purple shade to it. And it goes on really nice and smooth. So that one is definitely a keeper. I got to try on some of Rena's Besame lipstick. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. Besame. I think so. They make the lipstick that Agent Carter wore in the show, or something inspired by that. And so I've gotten to try one of their little matchsticks. They have these cute little matchbooks of trials, and that was the red velvet. The color that I'm looking at potentially getting is the 1931 Merlot. So I'd like to go to a Sephora that has a sampler so that I can try on that color and see how it is. It's a little spendy. It went on really nicely, and it's kind of it's really cool packaging, and I've just really been enjoying playing up my lips. I think that with my glasses, it works a whole lot better to do things to my lips than my eyes. I mean, I have pretty fancy eye color on today, but you just can't see it as well through my glasses. So, lips it is. And it's fun to be more brave and daring than I have been in the past. I'm celebrating 40. Book of cooking. There has not been much cooking going on here yet because I have still been resting so much. I definitely ate at some delightful places, many of which I had gone to in the past. Some Brazilian food, some panicoken, which is kind of like a custardy Dutch baby, but better. I haven't had anything that is quite like it, and I was able to go twice this year. Victoria's several times, and a Mexican place that had some really interesting things. And yeah, it was definitely some fun eating. Got some more Chicago popcorn. That was fun at the airport. And I had my first Argo tea, which I guess is a big thing, and a macaron, which I had never had, a true macaron. I have just had the coconut macaroons, which are different. For the happiness continues. I got to see my Aunt Vicky while she was here. She was in my area while I was gone. She lives in Michigan. And so the only period of time that we were both in this state, I guess Oregon technically, we were at the airport. The only time that we could meet up was after my plane landed and before her plane boarded. So we got a quick little meetup, got to hear a little bit of each other's stories, and she watches the podcast, and she was so sweet. She really is a fun person, and I am glad that she got to spend some good time with my family. Even though I wasn't here to get to enjoy more time with her, it was really nice to get to see her. I am really excited that I filled up my love bucket for friendship over the course of my trip, between the wonderful, relaxing, joyful time with Rena and all of the busy, exciting things that happened during Zombie Apocalypse and with my friends there. It just, these are my people. I just really feel blessed and happy to be surrounded by people who are like-minded, people who are caring, and it's really joyful to get to go and celebrate that. I was able to share a little bit of my birthday cheer with some of them, and that was also fun. Little goodie bag kind of things. And I'm happy that I'm getting back into my normal rhythm. It's taken me a fair amount of time of resting, naps every day since I've been home. I got home on very, very late on Monday the 6th. So I've been home for 9 days. And that, definitely need lots of rest still, but I am starting to get back into my daily routines, and that brings me joy as well. So I think I will call that good for today, and I will be back to see you again very soon with another episode and plenty of show and tell and exciting things to share with you. But I really wanted to get some of these stories told today while I had a chance, and I was all dressed up for a get-together with my mother-in-law and my husband tonight, and then this weekend they will be out of town, so I'll have some more time to spend with you. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in there while my computer woes kept me from podcasting. Thanks for being friendly to me. If I got to meet you during ZK, thank you for coming up and saying hi. I am just a happy girl. Okay, so you can follow me, connect with me on the internet. I am Christine with a K on Ravelry. I am kdlb, just the letters, on Instagram. The Yarnings podcast group on Ravelry is where I post the podcast information, and we sometimes have knit-alongs. We have one coming up. And the show notes with links to everything that I talk about can be found at yarningspodcast.com, all smooshed together. Until next time, that's the story. Bye, guys.